Okay, guys, welcome. It's February 11th. We're the Power Up call at 7 p.m. So I'm just going to open the floor to you guys, but before I do that, I am Shalene McLeod. You'll notice I am not Jamie Fitzpatrick. I'm hosting tonight with my husband, Jer.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jer McLeod.
And we have actually been coaches for 9 months now with the Crush It team. So we're happy to be your host. This is the first call we've ever hosted. So I'm really excited for it. But I'm going to flip it over to you guys. Everyone is on mute right now. If you guys just want to go ahead and unmute yourselves and ask away your questions, whatever they are, and I will do my best to answer them all. Or you can pop them in the chat too, if anyone.
I have a question.
Yeah, Denise.
So I'm obviously trying to build my team, and I'm getting where I have, like 5 people. So I have 3 on one side, 2 on the other. Do I just keep flip-flopping the placement? Or is there something like with the strong leg, the weak leg that I should try and stack on one side or the other?
So you are going for diamond then, right? So on diamond, for those of you, if anyone doesn't know, you need 4 coaches on your right leg, 4 coaches on your left. There you go. Yes. And 1 on each needs to be an emerald. So you definitely need to balance out both your legs in order to get there. However, saying that, if you know that one of your coaches is going to be a business builder and not just a discount coach, then you want to think about strategic placement in that sense. So if you already have a business builder on your right leg and you have someone who's coming to you saying, yes, I want to be a business builder as well, then you would likely want to place them on your left leg. And then your discount coaches, I would alternate your legs back and forth for your discount coaches to make sure that you've got 4 and 4 on each side. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. And sometimes you never know. Sometimes people say they want to be a business builder and then they don't. So it's kind of a roll of the dice, but strategically, that's how you'd want to place them.
Yeah, biggest thing for that too is you want to make sure you have the platform first, right? So you want to make sure you have the 4 and 4, and then you can get strategic with where you want to place yours.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I'll throw another thing out there, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been busy. I was homesick with a kid today, so
your brain's been spinning all day.
So I'm just throwing this out there because I used to be on the challenge tracker app. So I was trying to get on there from my phone, and that is for clients. I didn't realize, I want to open it up and start using it for my clients. I didn't realize you had to actually get online to the challenge tracker portal.
Yes.
So I just want to let people know, if you've heard that or you've attempted and it's not working for you either, it's not a technical issue in the sense that you need to call the customer or coach relations. It's you need to go to the challenge tracker portal for coaches.
Yes.
Good point.
Yeah.
I was on the phone for a minute.
Yeah, that's a good point. So just to kind of back that up a little bit, if you want to open your own challenge group on the My Challenge Tracker app, then what you need to do is actually go to the website called My Challenge Tracker Portal. And when you go there, you can log in, and that's where you set up all your posts. That's where you do your inviting for people. That's where you can send messages to people right inside the portal. The app, when you log in, is basically just for you to post your workouts and your results and your Shakeology for your daily use. So yeah, anyone. And also in the portal, you can access the challenge group guides as well. So I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but when you log into My Challenge Tracker portal, you can click on the challenge group guides and it takes you right to the guides. So if you're looking to populate the information for all of your posts, you can schedule out all your posts using the guides, and it'll take you right to it. So if you haven't noticed that yet, just a little quick shortcut for you.
Yeah, saves you some time.
Yeah. All right, who else got a question? Lay it on me. Everyone's very quiet today.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you guys at right now? We're in the middle of the month. How are you guys feeling? Does anyone want to kind of share where you're at with SC points and what your goal is for this month for SC? You're at 2? What's the goal, Denise?
10 is my goal. I've got a ton of share carts out, and just kind of reconnecting with some people. I had one, she just closed today, and I sent another one to a childhood friend who we were on the phone for like an hour. He's like, I want to do it. I don't care. Just sign me up. I want to make money.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping he'll actually go through. That's the thing, is people get super excited, but when it comes to hitting that button, so we'll see. But I'm hoping that that'll be 4. And I have, like I said, I have like 4 carts out. So
Good.
we'll see.
That's
Yes.
good. Yeah, that's awesome. And I do find that when you get people into your share cart, trying to create that sense of urgency really helps. You know, the group is starting on Monday. Let's get you set up. We need to get your Shakeology on order so that it's in the mail and you're ready to go when we have our start date. Trying to create that urgency of, you know, we've only got 3 spots left. You want to make sure that you get in now. That helps sometimes with getting them to complete that share cart once you've got them sitting in there. I saw someone else was at SC6 already this month. Yay! That's awesome.
We just have one question here.
Checking the chat.
Yeah, so it's about Instagram. What do you do with people who you choose to follow but don't follow you back and they don't interact? For me, it just depends on whether they fit in my circle or not. Just because they don't interact with me right away doesn't necessarily mean they won't in the long run. But I have to really look at that person and see, does that person fit well with me? Because if they don't, unfollow them. And if they do, then just keep trying to engage with them. At some point, they may reach back out to you, because you gotta remember that sometimes you have to kind of put a little bit out there for them to give you a little bit back. People are nervous to reach out to people for some reason. So you actually have to put yourself out there. And if they don't reach back, don't give up on them right away. I mean, especially if they fit in your niche. If that's the type of person you're looking for, or that's the type of person you're going after, then by all means follow them and keep trying to re-engage. But if they don't fit in your circle and it's not a person that would connect with you, then unfollow them.
So Jared and I have we use this analogy when we're talking to people on social media, or even if it's people within your warm market that maybe you haven't reached out to yet, or you have reached out to and they've said no. We think of it like a bank account, and not to monetize people, but we think of it like a bank account. And how many deposits are you making into that bank account before you try and make a withdrawal? Because if you walk up to the bank and you try and make a withdrawal right away, you're not going to get anything because there's no money in the bank. So how much money are you putting into the bank, which is how many deposits are you putting in your relationships before you try and take that withdrawal? And that withdrawal being an invite to a challenge group or an invite to the coaching opportunity. So that's another way on Instagram that I find, how many times am I liking? Because just following somebody usually isn't enough. So am I liking on their posts more than once a week?
Yeah.
Am I commenting on stuff? And are they meaningful comments? Not just, love that, cute hair, love the dog, that's great, this is so cool. You know, like really commenting of, I have that exact same shirt, oh my gosh, I love it. Or where did you buy that shirt? Find ways you can engage.
Yeah.
Where did you buy that shirt? Because I need to have it in my closet.
Yeah.
You know, what color or what hair dye do you use because I love the color that you have? Or what salon did you go to? I use that one all the time. What salon do you go to? If you're in the same city as them, you know, like ask them questions so that they can engage with you instead of just leaving a comment that they may not even respond to. So I find that helps quite a bit. And at the end of the day, if they're not interacting with you, you can just go ahead and hit unfollow, because maybe they're just not your people, which is totally okay.
Good question.
Yeah. Your kids look just like you. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of Instagram, I think it can be like a tricky song and dance sometimes with people. But I think at the end of the day, you really just want to be authentic. And what would you say to somebody in person? You know, your comment is like, what would you say to your girlfriend or your sister or your mom on their post? You know, and just be yourself that way. Yeah. So, and even, okay, so your comment, you said always your kids look just like you. It's a comment that you would put, Selena. And I love that. And maybe ask a question with that. You know, your kids look just like you. Do you get that? Do you get that often? You know, try to find a way that they have to answer you. Because if you find a way that they have to answer you, that starts engagement. Because a lot of the time people see that and they don't know who you are, and they'll be like, oh, that's cool. But then they might just keep moving on with their day, right? So get them to stop, get their attention, and then get that engagement with a conversation back and forth. So I hope that helps.
And that's how Instagram works too, because
yeah,
the longer the response is, or the more characters are in that response, the more Instagram likes that, which means the more they're going to say, hey, people are really liking this, and they're going to share it, right? Which is going to get your name out there even further. So just something to think about. Instagram's a little tricky that way. If you just put like one comment or a heart or an emoji, doesn't really get recognized all the time.
Yeah, the algorithm, you need the algorithm to play in your favor. And to have it play in your favor, you want to have 3 words or more in every single comment. But I always love asking questions because it starts engagement.
Yeah.
But good question. Anyone else? You can pop it in the chat, or you can ask us here too. You're welcome. Anything else on Instagram? I'll show you guys something that I do on Instagram if no one has any other questions. Okay, a way that I track people. Oh, one second. Do you message people on Instagram and ask questions when connecting, or just comment on photos? Yeah, absolutely. I message people on Instagram. So I use Shalene Johnson's method of the 5-3-1. So I will like 5 of their posts. I will comment on 3 of their posts, and then I will send them a message. And the direct message that I send them is not an invite right away. It's not a, hey, I have a virtual boot camp, or there's this coaching opportunity. It's always something to do with what I feel like we have in common. So how can I make a connection with this person? And if it doesn't feel right, then it's not a person that I message. I just kind of keep going down the list until it's someone that I feel like, oh, hey, she's cute, I want to be her friend. Or, oh, hey, she's in the same city as me, I want to be her friend. And so I will message them. I'll ask where they're from if I don't know where they're from. Or if it was a post about, I love country music, I love Nashville, I love everything to do with Nashville and any country artist. So for me, I actually search a lot of people on Instagram that have similar interests. So I will search hashtag Nashville, Tennessee. I will search country music, country girl, anything to do with like Luke Bryan and Kane Brown, all those people. And that automatically gives me something to connect with people because they'll be hashtagging that as well. And I automatically have a connection with them being like, oh my gosh, did you see that Maren Morris has a new song out and it's the best song I've ever heard, which I was playing before everyone got on this call. But those are the types of things that I will try to find connections with people, or like, oh my gosh, I see that you're a mom of 3. Is it 3 girls or 3 boys? You might already know the answer. That's okay. But just ask, right? Because that starts that engagement with people. And if you can start that engagement with people in DMs, you start building trust with them.
Yeah. And yes, Megan, I find it does work. I find sometimes even if before I even get to the single message that I send them, they're already following me back. Like if I've liked 4 or 5 of their pictures, they're already following me back. So definitely the engagement or the interest that you put into somebody is like that deposit into the bank we were talking about. So I'm liking their pictures, I'm showing interest in them, and then I comment on a couple things and send them a message. I usually get the follow back. Yeah.
And it makes you a true person.
Yeah.
Because how often are you getting followed by people who aren't real people? They're just robots, and then they unfollow you a couple days later. And people are used to that on Instagram. So by you liking and commenting on stuff, it shows that you're an actual human being on the other end of the computer or the other end of the phone, and you're not just a robot. So it does help. Especially
when you make the comments, personal, like something about them that you like, or something about that picture that you like. Whatever drew you to that picture that you like, that's what I typically comment on. So Christina said, are you 5-3-1ing all at once and sending them a message, or over the course of a couple days, or how do you do it? Okay, so depending on the time I have for the day, typically I will do it all at once just because I'm in that account and I have mom brain and I need to get it done. So I will do it all at once typically. But what I like to do is, that's not the only deposit. Like that's my deposit for the day with that person.
but I need to follow up with them somehow. And if I haven't invited them yet, then what I typically do is I add them to a collection on Instagram. And if you don't know this trick, I'm going to show you because it saves me a ton of time. Does anyone know what collections are on Instagram?
Oh, they're amazing. It's going to save you so much time.
You know this trick.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That's my girl. She knows this trick. No. Yes. Okay. So when you are in Instagram, I'm just going to pull up a photo here and hopefully you guys can see this on my phone. Okay, so there's Instagram. Do you see this little flag on the side here? You want to click that flag and it'll say save to collection. Save it to a collection. I missed my opportunity to hit the button. And you can actually, it'll take you to this and it says new collection. So from here, what I do is I actually have a collection called potential clients. I have a collection called Dream Team. These are the coaches that I want to bring onto my team. I have a collection for my current clients. I have a collection. Denise is so excited right now. I have a collection for my current coaches. And what this allows me to do is on a Monday morning, I can go into my collections, which I'll show you how to get there in a second. I can go into my collections and I can connect with those people immediately. And it's very fast. I don't have to search. I don't have to go back and forth from paper to Instagram, from Streak to Instagram. It's all within the same app. And it just makes it, for me, it just makes it faster for me to be able to go back in and connect with those people.
Say for example, say you have 30 people in your potential dream team. You can spend 10 minutes and get that 531 and like some of their posts. You can start depositing into the bank and it's done in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I found once I started using the collections, it really helped me with following up with people. Yeah. And I stopped losing a lot of people in the mix because I was trying to grow my Instagram page so quickly that I found I was missing people a lot. So I will do the 531 immediately on their page. So like literally within 2 minutes, they're getting 5 likes, 3 comments, and a message from me. But then I'll go back and I'll do that again the following week and again the following week. So it's not that I just do it one time per account. I do it often so that they see me all the time in their feed and in the notifications. Does that help, Sean? Did I answer that question okay? He asked overtime or all at once. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so to get to your collections, because now you've saved these photos, but you have to find out where to get them. So you want to go to your own profile page. And at the top, there's 3 lines at the very top. Click those 3 lines and you'll see saved, which is the same image. It's just that flag. So when you click on saved, all your collections come up here. And now in here, let me see, let me try and open one up. I've actually saved them for like countries too. So if I connect with someone in Australia, I save an Australia one. That way, if we ever launch into Australia, I know my people in Australia. So yeah, and then it opens it up and everyone's already in here. So collections, little tip for you.
Yeah. And another thing too about deposits is that like now when I go into my collections, now that I've been following them, I've been liking their pictures, I read a couple of their posts. If there's something that stands out to me where maybe one of them struggling with, someone mentioned something about nutrition or whatnot, that's something now where I can send them, hey, I read your post about nutrition. Here's an easy meal plan for the week. And you send them that little freebie. That's just another deposit into the bank. So now when you actually do the invite, you already have that relationship built, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about what can you give. Give. And don't try and create all of this stuff. If you're giving freebies away, don't try and create them all. There's tons of freebies that you can just grab from the internet and be like, hey, I came across this article and it made me think of you because you were telling me the other day how stressed you were because you have 1,000 things going on and you have no time. And this article really talked about time management. And I thought it really resonated with me and I thought it would with you. Something like that. And you can send them the freebie.
Yeah. And that might be the conversation that gets them to start the conversation back with you. Right?
Okay, I find a question. I find after connecting with someone is how to bring up Beachbody. I haven't done a lot of invites yet. Okay, this one I feel like is very hard for a lot of people. It's like, what point in that conversation do you finally think, okay, I've made enough deposits, I can actually invite now? There's really no right answer for this, to be honest with you. And there's no exact timing. I say go with your heart and figure out in the conversation that you're having, where has it been going? Have you been talking about health and fitness? Have they been talking about losing weight? Have they been talking about they don't have enough money and they're in so much debt? Have they been talking about the fact that they hate going to their gym or they haven't made it to their gym in forever? Figure out where you're at in your conversation, because if they're talking about that stuff, you have a solution to their problem. And by you having a solution to your problem, that's the perfect time to say, hey, you know what? This is what I've been doing. And I found that it's really helped me in losing 20 pounds, or it's helped me in actually getting fitness in my day now because I work at home and I don't have to worry about getting 3 kids in the car, getting them to the gym, worrying about daycare. So if you can really just go based off of your conversation, and I know that may not be the answer that you want to hear, but I really do feel like that's kind of where you need to be in every conversation, is just where are you at, and ask those questions that are going to bring up pain points for people. Because if you bring up the pain points for people, it gives you an easy lead in. Yeah. And I think for the most part, a lot of us don't invite because we're uncertain of what the answer is going to be. And when there's uncertainty, there's fear. And there's this pressure we put on ourselves of disappointment that someone's going to say no. And I know Jared and I have a chart, and our goal is to get 100 no's. That's our goal. I'm not going for the yeses, I'm going for the no's. Because if I can get 100 no's, I'm probably going to get 7 or 8 yeses. Right? And that's where we go. So if I can get 100 no's, then I know I'm probably moving my business forward. And I know that is a hard thing at first. It was for us.
Yeah, I struggled with it for sure in the beginning.
It was like, oh my gosh, why don't they like me?
Yeah.
I need them to like me. So it was hard.
Yeah.
But I think what really it came down to was just it wasn't great for them at that time. It's not good timing for them. They're not ready, but you're there for them when they are ready. So continue with that conversation with them.
Yeah, because it doesn't go away. This is an example that happened just today. I was talking to someone probably back in September, and she just reached out to me again now after saying no 2 or 3 times, and now she's reached out and said, "Hey, I'm really kind of thinking about what you guys are doing right now. When's your next boot camp?" So no just means not right now, and maybe it's just because we haven't deposited enough into the bank account for them to take a withdrawal. But you just got to put the time in. You know, especially if it's someone that you feel that's going to fit well with you, because that's the great thing about this business is we get to pick who we work with. We get to pick who we want on our team or what clients we want to work with. We don't have to work with everybody, right? So that's the kind of benefit of this business is you get to choose. So if that person is someone that's going to fit well with your team, then put the time in.
So Liz said the same thing. People aren't actually saying no to us. They're saying no to the opportunity. And it's not a no forever. It's just a no for now, which I love that, Liz. Thank you. Danielle, you asked, is this something you plan in your power hour? Would it be considered making connections? Are you referring to the 531 method? Because I think that you typed that in earlier.
Yeah, I was asking about when you said the collections, how you go about the collections. I try to make sure that I don't start scrolling when I start trying to add to my social media, add to my Instagram. I start catching myself like now I'm just scrolling. I'm not actually being productive. So trying to be, hone in on what I'm actually trying to achieve when it comes to expanding my social media and then also making those actual connections with people that I add to my collections.
So what I would suggest, if you're just adding people to a collection and you're not actually taking the time to like or comment on their posts, no, you are not actually making connections as per the business activity tracker. That doesn't count. You have to actually be liking and commenting on it before you save the post to add it to your collections. That is making connections. Yeah, absolutely. You are starting to build that relationship with someone online. So yes, 100% that is. In terms of like scrolling, one tip that does help, set a timer for yourself. We all have a phone. It all has a timer on it. Set the timer on your phone so it like physically pops up in your face, like you're done, stop, and set a goal for yourself in that time. You know, you've got 20 minutes. Okay, I got 20 minutes. I'm going to make 10 connections in 20 minutes. Go time.
Yeah.
And make it happen. I find that helps because I get lost in Instagram too. I actually just started scheduling all my posts, and I don't actually like schedule them way ahead of time. It's going to be like day of. I have 2 posts I want to put out. I'm going to schedule them that day. One day I will get to the point where I can do it all on a Sunday night, but we're just not there yet. But I will schedule it. I will post it from a third-party app like Planoly, or another app that like Planet, I think is another one that you can use. And what happens when you schedule your post or you post from a third-party app, you can't scroll. You can't get lost in the vortex of Instagram stories, because I get lost in the vortex of Instagram stories for hours. It is like reality TV.
She calls me out on it all the time.
I'm like, what are you doing?
She's like,
right now?
what are you doing? You've been here for 3 hours. What have you done? Hey, where are you putting your time?
Get that business activity tracker out and let's check off those boxes.
Yeah,
okay.
Scrolling's a killer.
Yes. Good, Jessica. Okay, good. I'm glad you're liking it. Jessica, you use Planoly as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's totally what it is. When you're in Instagram, try to be very aware of what you're doing in Instagram. And while we're saying make connections, and you're like, well, how do I make connections if I'm not scrolling on my feed and I'm not finding pictures that I love? Go and search a hashtag or jump into an Instagram account that you love and start following other people that are in that Instagram account. Yeah. And that will keep you off of your feed and into actually following real people and connecting with people. And I honestly go off their profile picture.
And that,
if I'm like, they look cute. Oh, they got kids. Oh, that dog's cute. Oh, whatever. Like I click on it and I'm like, yeah, cool person. I'm going to do the 531 right now with them.
I spend a little more time because I'll actually look at them and see if they kind of fit in what my mold would be. And something that I found out is that now that I'm doing that, you know how Instagram gets you those suggested people to follow? They're now fitting more of the mold that I want, because I'm getting these followers back of people that I'm interested in, people that fit in my circle. Yeah. So now when Instagram's suggesting people, it's not just other Beachbody coaches or anything like that. It's actual people that would fit well in our system. So if you can find people that mold well with you, then they follow you back. Instagram will start to suggest similar people in that. So I found that that's been huge for me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions? We've got like 1 more minute left here.
One more.
No, everyone's looking at Instagram and finding collections. Yeah, go ahead. There you go.
All right. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
So I'll make it quick, but I didn't really want to talk tonight because I don't want to bring an issue that is kind of a Debbie Downer issue, but I have this crippling fear of inviting, and I have not tapped into anything yet. I'm deathly afraid of my war market. I created an Instagram page that's separate from my private one. I did the same for Facebook. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I'm literally like, I sweat. I don't know how to get over that, and I would love to get over that.
Yeah.
That makes any sense.
I think that
I know that if I get to, if I get over the first hump, I know it's going to flow, but how do you do that?
Yeah.
I first want to say that you're not the only one. You are not the only one who feels that way. So relieve some of that pressure from yourself that maybe you feel like you're the only one who feels that way, because the rest of the world is inviting 10 people a day. And it's like, how are you doing this? Because I want to throw up just thinking about it. So rest assured, you're not the only person that feels that way. And it's not easy. I think the first thing that I would look at is, what are you afraid of? It's a fear of inviting, but what is the fear? What is the worst thing that's going to happen if you invite somebody?
True.
And what, and you know, and what is that fear? Is it a fear that they're going to say no? Is it a fear that they're going to judge you, or they're going to have an opinion about what you're doing? Really figure out what that fear is.
I think probably for most people, it's all of the above. It's judgment. It's somebody saying no. It's somebody saying, you know, oh, she's doing that. You know, I'm not dealing with that. You know, unfollow, which is really, you know, not a reflection of yourself. And I know all the commonsensical things. Yeah. I know that other people's opinions don't pay my bills. I know these things, but at the same time, like my palms are sweaty right now, just talking about this. And I know I have to get over it, but knowing that there are other people out there obviously is helpful. But it'll get better. Once I start, it's gonna click into place.
I'll share with you too. I was that person. I was terrified to talk to people. I was afraid of other people's opinions. I don't know if many of you know on this call, but I've been off work for the last 14 months with a concussion. So I train other police officers in Peel Region, and being off, I was heading down some really bad paths, depression, anxiety, everything. And Shalene had recognized that I was heading down those paths and I was struggling. And she's the one that kind of brought me this opportunity to give me something to focus my time on. But it was so nerve-wracking to try and invite people because I was afraid that people were going to say, well, if you can do this, how come you're not at work? Not knowing all the underlying issues that I go through about being in a car and dizziness and headaches and all that other stuff. And for me, it wasn't until I got into a psychologist and I started sorting some of that stuff out through the depression and anxiety that it came down to, well, what are you most afraid of? And it was the same thing as you. I'm afraid that people are going to say no. I'm afraid that they're going to judge me. And what are they going to say about it? And then the response my psychologist gave me was, well, what if that does happen? What are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? If that happens, say they do judge you and they do unfollow you, what are you going to do? Right? And for me, it was like, well, there's nothing I can really do. If they unfollow me, then that's their choice. Okay, so what's holding you back then? Inviting is just a fear in our own heads that we're afraid of what other people are going to think when we can't control that. That's out of our control. If they don't like what we're going to say or they don't like what we're going to put out there, then that has nothing to do with us. We know, and for me especially now, that this opportunity saved my life. Because if not for this opportunity, I'm not sure I would be sitting here. And there were days where Shalene was afraid to leave me alone. So this opportunity, I know how important this opportunity is. And for me to not share it, and Jamie has said it 1,000 times, it would be selfish for me to not share this. And that's just something that I had to get over. And it was a fear of mine where, you know, you're afraid of what people are going to think. But what you need to write down is, what are you going to do if that does happen? And write out little point forms. Like, what are you going to do? For example, they're gonna unfollow me. Okay, so they unfollowed me. You know, there's thousands of other people out there that are going to follow you in the long run, right? Just be consistent and stick to yourself and stick to your guns and try not to let other people's opinions bother you. As hard as it is to do, I know it's easy to say, but I was in your shoes. I was honestly there, and now I'm sending out probably 50 invites a day. It just doesn't bother me anymore. But you have to get to that point where it's like, draw that line in the sand. Yeah. Right? And it'll come in time. You know, it just takes time.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I think a good goal you could maybe set for yourself and anyone else on this call that is feeling really fearful of invites is get it done the very first thing you do when you wake up. That is the first thing you're going to do. You're going to do the hardest thing you need to do that day. Even though it doesn't sound hard to other people, it's hard for you, and that's okay. Do the hardest thing in your day very first and have it done and over with. And then you can go on with your day and you're not worrying all day about, I got to invite, how am I going to do this? I don't want to talk to these people. And then you're just stressed all day long, right? So if you can get it done first thing, and if you need to start with one invite a day, start with one, right? One is better than none. Okay, so I hope that helps.
I just touched one thing on that too. When it comes down to our fear of them saying no, if I get a response of no, that's a win in my books now, because at least they're talking to me. It's the ones that ghost me that don't say anything. It's like, okay, well, why didn't they say anything, right? But I let that all go now because they'll eventually come around. And I'm starting to see that now that we're 9 months in. It's people are starting to filter back. As long as we're staying consistent and being true to ourselves, people will come around.
And guys, let me share. This is my 4th MLM company that I've been with.
Yeah.
So at the beginning when I was like, hey guys, look at me, here I am again. They're like, oh my gosh, Shalene, what are you doing? And I'm like, no, but this is the one. Like, this is the one. I found the one. And they were like, sure, Shalene. So it takes a little while, but you'll get there, I promise. And if you need anything, any support or like encouragement, lean in. Jared's laughing because he knows. And like, Jared was the guy. I was like, yeah, this is my 4th MLM. And he was like, sure, Shalene. Yeah. Okay, a couple of questions and then we're going to go. Eat That Frog by Brian. Yes, Eat That Frog is a really great book if you're looking for personal development. Dive into that. Marnie, thank you. That's so sweet. 3 affirmations. Number 1, this is a gift. Pretty sure
affirmations have been huge for me.
Yes.
Daily affirmations. I say them in the morning and I say them at night. I try and start my day positive. I try and end my day positive so that I can go and have a good night's sleep. But affirmations, and I try not to use the same ones every single day, but things that used to hold me back, right? Like I remind myself of these affirmations every day. So it's been a huge help. So if you don't do affirmations.
Okay, we're going to try and wrap this up here. Christina says, how many connections are you making in your collections to send out 50 invites a day? Obviously, those aren't cold invites. Yeah, like you have to remember, we've been at this for 9 months now. So we have a lot of follow-ups. So when we say an invite, it could be a person that we've invited 10 times already, right? So it's not 50 invites doesn't necessarily mean 50 new people. It just means that there's 50 invitations kind of sent out.
Yeah. And for me too, I mean, part of that is even just starting that relationship where you're getting conversation back and forth. I'm building up to send an invite. So I'm counting that as a connection because I'm going to eventually invite that person when I feel the time's right.
Yeah, for sure. Marnie, I invited someone I've met once or twice today has been following me, thinking she would say no. Her response was, thank you so much. I'm definitely interested. So the top. Yes, awesome. Huge win. See, you never know. And the thing that holds us back is uncertainty. And we never want to invite because we're not certain in what that actual answer is going to be. But you never know. It could be something amazing like that. Marnie, huge win. Yeah. Awesome.
To piggyback on that one, my best friend, who's Kipton's godfather, I didn't invite to this opportunity for months because I was afraid he was just going to say no. And he's a client of ours. He's actually a discount coach, loves everything. He's been so committed and so dedicated and lost 57 pounds.
Wait, can we just point something out? Danielle Vera, who's on this call, I thought she was a Beachbody coach when I first started following her on Instagram, and she wasn't. No one had reached, well, I'm sure people have reached out to her.
I reached out to her.
He did, but I got her. And, but honestly,
so
like I thought she was a Beachbody coach because she just loved Beachbody, and she wasn't working with a coach at all. And like, so thankful that I had the courage to reach out to her and just say, I love you. Please, we need to be best friends and let's do this. And I need to move to California with you. But yeah, like you just never know. So just start the conversation. Call has been amazing. Yes, Jessica. Okay. We're going to wrap it up though, because we're at 7:40. We're 10 minutes over our time here.
Jamie's going to yell at us.
We love you all.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah. If you guys have any last minute questions or anything at all, you can always find us on Instagram and Facebook as well. We are here for you guys to reach out to. Shalene McLeod, Jeremy McLeod on Instagram. What are you on Instagram? Jeremy McLeod. Yeah. But don't feel like you have to follow us. Just if you want to get in touch with us, that's where we are. Or we're on the Crush It fitness page as well.
Yep.
Okay. Any last minute? Everyone's good? If we're good, can I just take a quick picture? You're welcome, Denise. I love that you got my back with all these MLMs. We rock. We found the one though, right? We found the one. Okay, everyone smile. Yes, love it. All right. Good night, you guys.